I'm finally relocating to Dublin, Ireland for my studies, and while it's the most exciting thing ever, this journey wasn't smooth at all. In fact, I got denied three different times, twice by the US Embassy and once by Ireland. But despite the rejections, I'm finally on my way, and this is my story. Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peace and this is the beginning of my relocation vlog series. Today's episode is deeply personal because I'll be sharing how I was denied three different times before finally getting approved to study in Ireland. For as long as I can remember, I've dreamed of studying abroad. I've always been passionate about storytelling, media, and connecting with people. So when I finally got my admission, I was really excited, but nothing prepared me for how tough and difficult the visa process would be. It took time, tears, and a lot of faith. And I didn't think I'd ever get to say this, but I finally did it. But first, let me take you back to the beginning. The first rejection came from the US on August 25th, 2023. I don't think I can ever forget that day. Honestly, it is literally stuck in my head. Okay, so I applied for a master's in communication and media studies at Rutgers University. I got my admission. I was in good relations with the school, and it seemed like there wasn't going to be any issue, because I was in good relation. We were going back and forth sending emails and everything seemed like it was going to be great. So I got my I-20 and I went for my interview at the US consulate in Lagos, and lo and behold, I was denied. The first denial, or should I say rejection, really hits me hard. I wasn't used to ever hearing no. Honestly, it was the first time I was told no in my life, and that really struck a nerve. I was so devastated. I was shocked. Everyone was shocked. My whole family was shocked because we didn't see that coming. We thought we had everything on in check. We thought we had everything in order, and so to be denied was was something we did not even imagine. I don't know if you understand. I remember crying my eyes out, weeping and mourning the dreams that I had that was just crushed in 5 minutes with no reason. No reason was given. I was just denied. It was so heartbreaking for me. I was so disappointed in myself. I felt like I something was wrong with me. Maybe I didn't answer my questions correctly. Maybe I looked a certain way that I wasn't supposed to look like. Maybe, so many maybes and so many unknown reasons for why I was denied. That first rejection was the beginning of many other rejections that came, and it was just a roller coaster of emotions, because everyone was looking up to me and everyone believed in the fact that I was going to get that visa. So to come back home and tell my parents that I was denied, it just felt like I had disappointed them and I disappointed myself. All right. So when I came back crying to my parents and telling them that I didn't get it, I was denied. My mom and my dad were really supportive. Honestly, I cannot even say thank you enough to my parents for how supportive they were. They just told me it's okay, it's not your fault. These things happen. You can try again. They told me to try again, and because I believed in fact that, like, okay, maybe I made a mistake the first time, maybe I need to correct a few things. I did my assignments, I corrected a lot of things, I prepared for the interviews, I I I did all of those. I took YouTube lessons. I was taking lots of lessons from people. I was speaking to people who already got their visa because I had a friend, my best friend. She lives in the US. She was so supportive. She was so helpful, preparing me for the interview. And I went for the interview again the second time, and again, I was denied. I was crushed. I kept asking myself, what's going on? Like, what did I do that is so bad? Like, why? Is it because I'm Nigerian? Like, so many questions. And while all of this was happening, I still had my admission, but because school had already resumed and classes were already going on, I had to defer my admission to the next year. And guys, you don't even know how painful it is when you've imagined what your life is gonna be. You've dreamt of something that you thought you were gonna achieve, and then in like 5 minutes, with no explanation, it was just like cut short. It was denied, and I don't know why they never tell us the reasons. Because I remember the second time I was denied, I mustered the courage to ask the visa officer, like, can you tell me a reason why I was denied so that I can do better in my next application? And she was like, oh no, it's not allowed to say, like, they're not allowed to tell us the reason why we were denied. And it was just it was just really heartbreaking. Honestly, I was crushed, I was disappointed, I was depressed. And while all of this was happening, I still had to continue my life. I still had to go to work. I had to still, maintain my life, like do the things I'm supposed to do. And while all of that was going on, and I was backing that, because it was a private thing. Not everyone knew that I was applying for school. So I was basically just crying in secret places, like in the bathroom, at work, at home. When I'm alone in my house, I cry my eyes out, and I just mourn all of these dreams that I had, that was just dashed, basically. You know, it was a really, really enlightening experience at the same time. I know it was so painful, but it was very enlightening. It made me understand that, like, you can have plans, and it might not necessarily go the way you want it to. It does not mean that there's something wrong with you. It does not mean that, like, you're not doing it well. It just means that maybe it is not the right time. You understand? So because I didn't know why I was being denied for the US, and it felt like I was gonna keep doing the same thing. And you know this saying now, like, doing the same thing and expecting a different result is madness. Like, when you keep doing the same thing and think you're gonna like get a different result, is kind of relating to madness. So I felt like, since nobody is gonna tell me the reason why I'm being denied, like, maybe I should try another country. Like, US is not the only place. I know I really wanted to go to the US. I really loved, I already imagined what my life would be like in the US. And it was so sad that it wasn't just working out. But because it wasn't working out, there are other countries. And just because one is not working out does not mean you cannot try another. So I decided, you know, why not try Ireland? And that was in 2024. So the rejection from the US was in 2023, going into 2024. And then in 2024, I decided that I was going to apply to Ireland. And we all thought, yeah, this is the one, that this one would actually work. This one should definitely work. That was what we said. We were so sure. Again, that overconfidence was there. And I was so sure that I was gonna get the visa. I applied for my Irish visa, for my Irish study visa, and again, I was refused. And I was like, oh my God. I remember checking the Irish website and seeing, refused, boldly written next to my application number. Oh my God, you guys don't even understand the pain, the torture, the torment, the disappointment, the depression that I went through in that moment. Because once again, I was so sure that I was gonna get it. And once again, my dreams were thrown right back into my face. And it was really painful. I remember crying and calling my mom, and my mom was so devastated. She was so sad. Everyone in the house was so sad, because we all thought this was the one. And honestly, the pain, the torture, the torment, the depression, the disappointment I felt is something that I can't even describe to you all. It felt like God had abandoned me, because I had so much faith. I believed in God. I prayed for this. I fasted for this. I asked God in, like, in everything, in every single time I was praying, I was always begging and asking God, please do this for me. And the fact that it was refused again, it felt like, has God abandoned me? Has God forgotten me? Because, like, this has never happened before. I always used to feel like I was God's favorite child, because everything I wanted always just worked out for me. And this was new. This was a new experience for me, like being denied. And it just really opened my eyes up to, believing in God and having more faith, and just trusting in that right timing. trusting in your timing, because like everyone else has their timing, everyone else has their path. And because this person already got it does not mean, because this person is going on this path and things are going on for them, does not mean it would not happen. Because it's not happening right now does not mean it would not happen, basically. At first, I thought maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe this dream just wasn't meant for me. Maybe I'm just filled with bad luck. Maybe my village people really didn't want to see me move from this country. So many negative thoughts surrounded me, but with every rejection, I learned something new about the process, about paperwork, about resilience, and most importantly, about trusting the timing of my life and believing that God has got my back no matter what. Even though things weren't really working out the way I planned it to regarding my visa, other things were going on great in my life. Last year, after I found out that I was denied 2024, when I found out I was denied for my Irish visa, I remember I cried my eyes out. I was so depressed. And even when I was doing all of that, I started my YouTube. That was even what pushed me to start my YouTube, because I was waiting. I was really waiting for when I would, move to a new country to start my YouTube there. But I was like, why wait? You understand? And so while I thought things weren't going as planned for me, other aspects of my life, things were going well. I got a job, I started my YouTube, I started my podcast, I was doing so many like industrious things in my life. And just because one thing isn't going well does not mean it affects the other things. You understand? So this year I applied again, but this time around I was really religious with everything. I did my research. Instead of depending on agents, I did my own personal deep research. Guys, trust me, I was really, really religious about this, because I have gotten too many rejections at this point. Like I cannot make I we can't go 4 for 4. Like what the hell? So I was really consistent with research about what I needed to submit, because I realized that in my last application to the Irish embassy, I did not submit all the documents that they asked for. I missed out on a lot of documents because I did not do appropriate research, and I was depending on the agents that were processing the application for me. But this time around, this year when I applied, I made sure I did my own research. Like I checked the website. I looked for all the documents that I was were told to submit, and made sure that I stuck to exactly what they said they needed. Honestly, I wasn't playing around. I triple checked my documents, I cross referenced everything that we were told to submit, and I made sure that every document I submitted to the Irish embassy left no room for doubt, because this time around I have no there's no opportunity to fail. You understand? There was no room for failure. And I decided that I was gonna be religious with it. And fast forward to now, I actually and finally got my visa. Guys, you don't even understand the joy. The I felt so much joy. I remember waking up on a Monday morning, and I decided to check, the Irish website, and to see if my application number was on the website, because there's a website where they put out all the applications out, and like with your application number you can check if you were refused or approved. And I remember seeing approved, and I know how loud I screamed that day. I was full of joy. It felt like finally I have been validated. And it was just something that made me feel so good. So now I finally got my Irish study visa, and I am finally relocating to Dublin, Ireland to study journalism. It is always just crazy how things work out, because I wouldn't have thought. I honestly, this time around when I applied, I had no confidence. I was really just hopeful and praying and believing in God that it was going to work out. And now when I saw that it did work out, it just felt like, oh, God hasn't actually forgotten me. He actually had me in mind all this while. It wasn't just the right time. And now it's finally the right time. And I'm just so grateful to God. I'm grateful to God for everything, because He is the author and finisher of my life. He's the one that made everything work out in its own time. And honestly, I also want to say I'm so grateful for my parents. God blessed me with parents that actually care about my growth. They were so involved in every aspect of my visa application that I don't know. Every time I was denied, I always felt like, oh my God, I'm wasting my parents' money because it's not cheap to apply for these things. Like you pay for them. And every time they're always like encouraging me to try again. You can do it, try again, try again. The first time I was denied, my parents were like, no, don't worry, try again. The second time, don't worry, try again. The third time, don't worry, try again. And I feel like some maybe for some other people they might have just said, you know what, this thing is not working, find another thing, find another dream. Do you understand? But instead of saying that, they really stuck by my side, they stayed with me, they believed in me, and they bankrolled everything. And I can't say thank you enough to my parents, to my mom, to my dad, to my family members. Thank you so much, mommy. Thank you so much, daddy. I love you all. Honestly, it still feels really surreal that I have gotten my visa, and I don't know. I don't think, I think it would actually dawn on me the moment I travel, because I'm making this video right now and I'm still in Nigeria and I'm still in shock. It still feels surreal. It still feels like it's not real. It feels unreal. Every time I wake up and I go to my passport and I check, oh, okay, the visa is there. Like I just want to make sure that it is actually there, and it just feels so unreal. So my advice to you, if you're facing something similar to this, do not give up. Honestly, do not give up. Maybe it is not just the right time, and in its right time, it will work out. If you've ever faced rejection, especially if you're trying to leave the country or whatever kind of rejection, I'm here to tell you that I see you. And I'm also here to tell you that it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Nothing is wrong with you. You're okay. You're good. You're enough. You don't have bad luck. It's just not the right time. Honestly, that is what I've believed. And maybe all of those whiles that I was applying and processing my application, maybe it just wasn't the right time. Maybe it wasn't just like the right country, you know. And I just want to let you know that I see you and that it's going to be okay, and that very soon, one day, it will work out. Trust me, it will. And I hope this series encourages you to keep trying, to keep pushing, and to keep fighting for your dreams. Okay, guys, so please do not forget to subscribe, to like this video, and also comment. And also let me know if you faced any rejection or something similar to what I went through. I want to hear your story, honestly. And I just want to let people know out there that you're not alone. And also, delay is not denial. Delay is not denial. Trust me. In this own right time, everything will work out. In the next episode, I'll be sharing the documents you need to get together for your Irish study visa. Yeah. I don't know how long this video is, but I want to say thank you so much for coming, for watching and supporting me, and I cannot wait to take you all on this journey with me. It is a new journey, it is a new life experience, and I'm so excited to share it with you all, my second family. Mwah. I love you all, and I will see you in the next episode. Mwah. Bye.